Okay, next one for number 7. Number 7, I want you to solve the cube root of 4x plus 2 minus 6 equals negative 10. The cube root of 4x plus 2 minus 6 equals negative 10. Where do you think I start, Simon? Where do you think I start?
Add 6.
Yep, add 6. Okay, so add 6 to both sides. Cube root of 4x plus 2 equals negative 4. Now, I want you to look at this. Does that make sense? Can the cube root of something equal a negative? Can you get a negative answer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, because you can take the cube root of a negative number. Okay, like negative 8. Cube root of negative 8 is a negative 2. Okay, so think about it. If it's an odd handle number, it is fine to have a negative answer. Okay, if it's an even handle number, can you get a negative answer? No. Okay, that does not make sense. Okay, so now how do I undo this cube root? Cube both sides. Okay, so take both sides to the third power. Remember, that's not multiplying by 3. It's multiplying by itself 3 times. So these go away. We got 4x plus 2 equals, what's negative 4 cubed? Negative 64. Okay, I'm going to get x by itself, so subtract 2 from both sides. That leaves us with 4x equals negative 66. Divide both sides by 4. What happens here? Can 4 go into negative 66 evenly? No, but that's okay. You just need to reduce, okay? You will get fraction answers. They need to be reduced, but they do not need to be changed to mixed numbers. Okay, so just reduce this. 2 goes into both of them. Leaves you with negative 33 over 2. Leave your answer just like that. I do not want you to change that to a mixed number. Okay, leave them as improper fractions. No mixed numbers. Okay, try another one. For number 8, you know, these are kind of long. Okay, number 8. 2x to the 3 halves power equals 16. 2x to the 3 halves power equals 16. Any ideas on where I start? Say it again, Haley. Divide by 2. Perfect. Okay, divide by 2. That leaves us with x to the 3 halves power equals 16 divided by 2 is 8. Dijon, do you happen to remember, how do I get rid of a fraction power? Say it again. Oh, okay. If I was going to rewrite this, okay, you could rewrite this in power handle. Okay, that would be x. Okay, no, you don't need to write this down. Okay, power of 3 handle of 2. Does that help me to solve for x at all? Not so much. Okay, so yes, you could rewrite it in power handle, but that's not actually helping you to solve for x. Does anyone remember, how do you get rid of a fractional power? Very carefully. Multiply it by what? It's reciprocal, okay? So, to get rid of a fraction power, okay, to get rid of a fraction exponent, okay, fraction power, you want to multiply to the reciprocal power. Yes? Sure. Okay, so multiply this to the reciprocal power. So what's the reciprocal of 3 halves? 2/3. So you're going to take both sides to the 2/3 power. Okay, what happens when you have 2 powers next to each other? Do they multiply or do they add? Multiply. Power to a power, they multiply. So these will cross reduce one another. Okay, and you end up with just x to the first power, which we don't have to write, it's just x, equals 8 to the 2/3 power. Is there an easier way for me to write 8 to the 2/3 power? You can change it into power handle. Okay, if I change this into power handle, the 8 goes underneath, power of 2, handle of 3. And that is a problem that you can do. Okay, what is the cube root of 8? 2. And 2 squared gives you 4. So our answer here is 4. Okay, so to get rid of a fraction exponent, you want to take both sides to the reciprocal power. Okay, multiply both sides to the reciprocal power. Now, very, very similar to that last one is number 9. In parentheses, 16x raised to the 3/4 power plus 44 equals 556. So 16x raised to the 3/4 power plus 44 equals 556. Now, this is a little bit different than the last one, okay? On number 8, only the x got that exponent, okay? So you had to get rid of the 2 first. Here, everything, the 16 and the x, has that exponent, okay? So we do not need to get rid of the 16 first. Where would you start this? Any ideas? Start by subtracting 44, right? Okay, so if you subtract 44 from both sides, it's going to leave us with 16x to the 3/4 power equals, if you subtract correctly, we should get 512. Okay, now, how do I get rid of that 3/4 power? Take it to the reciprocal power. Okay, exactly. So take both of these to the reciprocal power. So both sides are going to be taken to what power? What's the reciprocal of 3/4? 4/3. Okay, so both sides to the 4/3 power. These go away. We get 16x equals, let's rewrite this in power handle. Okay, 512 goes underneath. Power of 4, handle of 3. Now, what is the cube root of 512? No. Okay, cube root of 512 is 8. Okay, so 16x equals 8 to the 4th power. What is 8 to the 4th power? Probably don't have it memorized. No. You could multiply 8 times 8 times 8 times 8, right? Or what would be an easier way to find 8 to the 4th power? 512 times 8. Okay, you know 512 is 8 to the 3rd power. So you could multiply by another 8, and you should get 16x equals 4,096. Okay, 4096. This is where people are going to make mistakes because they're going to do the multiplication wrong. So, go slowly. I know you know how to multiply, okay? Then, well, you're not using calculators on this unit, okay? Divide both sides by 16. Again, you have to know how to multiply and divide. And we get x equals 256, okay? Not all of these answers are going to be nice and simple and pretty. Okay, 256 is the answer we're looking for there. Questions on how I did that? No? Okay, now we're going to become a little bit more difficult. Okay, these last two are a little bit more difficult. It's something that I know you guys can handle, but you've never seen ones that are quite like this before. Okay, still same concept. Okay, so if I give you x plus 1 equals root 7x plus 15. X plus 1 equals root 7x plus 15. Remember, I'm trying to solve for x. Any ideas? How am I going to solve for x here?
6
Get rid of the root. How do I get rid of a root? This is what kind of root? What's in the handle number? A square, a 2. Okay, there's an invisible 2 there. How do I get rid of that? I would need to square both sides. Okay, so square this side. You also have to square the left side. How do I do a binomial, so 2 things inside, squared? Can I just distribute that exponent? What do you have to do if you have a binomial squared? FOIL. So you have to write it out twice. So x plus 1 times x plus 1 equals, the square cancels out the root, so we just have 7x plus 15. FOIL these together. Okay, if you FOIL those together, we get x squared plus x plus 1 equals 7x plus 15. I think I'm going to solve from here. This is stuff we did in the last couple units. If I combine these like terms, I get x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 7x plus 15. You got to move them over, exactly. So move everything over to the left side. Okay, so we're going to move the 7x, move the 15. Move the 7x, move the 15. Okay, that's going to leave us with x squared. 2x minus 7x gives you minus 5x. 1 minus 15 is minus 14 equals 0. How do I solve from there? How do I solve a quadratic equation? What's the easiest way to solve? Remember, there's 3 different ways to solve a quadratic equation. Factor, okay, or you could do complete the square. This is not one we would want to complete the square because it's odd. Or you could use the quadratic formula, okay? These will be factorable on purpose, okay? So these can be factored. What does this factor into? Can you give me some signs? Negative 7, positive 2. Split these up, set each part equal to 0. And this will give you x equals 7 and x equals negative 2. Now, unfortunately, these problems, anytime you have something with an x squared in them, you have to check your answers, okay? Because these give you something called extraneous roots, okay? It's kind of like imaginary numbers that you can't graph. So you have to check these, okay? How do you think I check these answers? Plug them back in, okay? You have to check your answers, okay? Sometimes one of your answers work. Sometimes both of them work. Sometimes neither of them works, okay? So you have to check these. The way you check these is to plug them back in. So we have to plug them back in, okay? So plug in 7. If I check 7, that would be 7 plus 1 equals root 7 times 7 plus 15. Okay, and this is just plugging things in. So 7 plus 1 gives you 8 equals root 7 times 7 is 49 plus 15. What is 49 plus 15? 64. Is 8 equal to the square root of 64? Does 8 equal 8? Yes, that one works. So I know that this is one of the answers. Okay, now, just because one works does not mean that the other one will not. Okay, sometimes you can get 2 answers. So you have to check the other one. So plug in again. Okay, negative 2 plus 1 equals root 7 times negative 2 plus 15. Okay, if we plug this in, negative 2, positive 1 gives you negative 1 equals root negative 14 plus 15. Is negative 1 equal to the square root of 1? What is the square root of 1? 1. Is negative 1 equal to positive 1? No. Okay, these are not equal. So this one is something called an extraneous root. You only have one answer there. Okay, only one answer. Questions on how I did that?